For researching arts events, I decided to actually go in person to certain events. So, for example, I went to the Lee Art Trail, and I experienced a range of them. However, I could only take pictures at Amanda Jackson's workplace because I asked multiple others, but they rejected my incline to take pictures. However, she was allowing me to take pictures of her work and display it within my book. And I really like the Lee Art Trail because on reflection it provides lots of people within the local area to show off their work, which means that there is a great sense of local community within this artistic sphere, which means that everyone can get involved, both observing and participating. So I think that it's important to view other people's work within the local community because everyone has a different style and interpretation of the same scenery. For example, Amanda Jackson's is quite abstract, which I really liked because when you think of looking at the sea in Southend, you'd think of it as just a sea. However, she depicts it very differently within block colours, which I think was quite alternative from everything else that I saw. So on reflection, I would say that her art stood out a lot because of how different it was to everyone else's. Another arts event that I attended was the Open Weekend Side Splitters. Again, this was a very different interpretation of what others may perceive to be art. So, for example, Louis Simmons was the artist of this event, and unfortunately he wasn't there, but observing his work, he creates quite an alternative vibe which would appeal to more modern audiences, and I quite liked the simplistic aesthetic of these. However, he did include some really detailed line work which I thought contrasted well with his other work, so therefore could appeal to quite a range of people. However, it was definitely something that is admired by a specific target audience, so therefore is quite limited on reflection. I also witnessed the sixth form passion play performed by the Year 13s. This was quite interesting because each year, as I've attended St Bernard's, each year the passion play is very different to the last because everyone has their own different interpretation. I enjoyed this one a lot more because I thought that this was quite dramatic and quite engaging, which I think is important within any of the arts for the piece to be engaging, because this will mean that the audience will have more of a connection with what you're trying to convey or suggest, which I thought was very important, and on reflection I should probably include within my own artwork. The influence that these arts events had on me was to be individual, original and creative. Individual mean being yourself, don't be a copycat and develop your own style, which I think was clearly evident within Amanda Jackson and Louis Simmons's work because they were very different to each other, just from two events, but communicated very different messages, which I thought was quite interesting when you think about the artwork being in a similar area but connoting very different views. Being original was also very important because especially in Louis Simmons's work, you need to break the rules sometimes and create something new, and although this artwork may not be for everyone, it is for someone, therefore is brightening someone's day or sparking more creative ideas for someone else, which I think is very important within the artistic industry. Another influence that these arts events had on me was being creative. So think outside the box and be open-minded, especially Amanda Jackson's work. Being open-minded, you may see something for what it is, but how can someone else interpret that? So, for example, her block-coloured interpretation of the seafront is very different to someone else's. However, by having an open mind, you can also see that seafront in her depiction of it, which I think is very important within the art industry and reflection, because although her idea may not be your initial idea yourself, you can also see it within her work, which I think allows you to have a broader perspective within the artistic community